All right. Welcome back to another episode of Trend My Podcast. It's your host, Oscar Daddy, direct Poppy Jameson Poppy, aka Susan Pascal. Just playing I'm in a relationship, but I'm not though. Episode 100. God damn, episode 100. Holy. If you were to ask me if I was gonna make it to episode 100, I'd say absolutely yes, because I know exactly who I am, and I believe in myself and everything I do. I don't half-ass it. So screw that speech. You know, a lot of people they ask them, "Did you ever think you were gonna be here?" Absolutely yes, I did. It is what it is. But today is a very, very special day. Not only because of episode 100, but because of the guest that I have on here today. If you're watching, you obviously know exactly who this is. People say we look alike. I don't think so. But if you're listening, you have no idea because he hasn't said anything yet, right? This guy, so he's responsible for the person I am today. Not only creatively. Creatively, that's more me, but you know. But in terms of just being on top of my shit, in terms of just being the man that I am today, my principles, values, work ethic, I owe it all to this man that's on this couch here today. So, without further ado, guys, please round of applause from the whole room for my dad. Yeah. My dad.
That's heavy, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, I try not to cry on this episode, but
wow.
I meant every single word. You've been pushing me, whether it's professionally, with this podcast, in life, period, you know. So thank you for everything. I'm extremely grateful to have you in my life.
You're very welcome, and it's really a pleasure for me to be here today and looking at you, who you became, and proud of you. Okay, and I know, and I knew it that this kind of travel will be long and successful for you every step. So I'm the one now applauding for you, saying, "Well, 100 visit. That's good."
Thank you. We're not gonna cry, bro. I'm not doing that. It's way too early for tears, man. All right, but that being said, let's get into the episode, right? So, I think we touched on it a little bit in my intro, but. Yeah, what do you think of the podcast? Like, what do you think of what it is that I'm doing here?
I wasn't surprised when you told us in the family, like, you're thinking to do this kind of thing. I knew you were able to do it. I know right at the beginning you didn't want me to listen to your episodes.
Yeah.
But you made a mistake of putting it on the media. So from time to time, and I went and checked on that, right?
Yeah.
Just to make sure on my side that you are on the right path. And I find it very interesting, very important, nice to hear, good language, and the people you were bringing in, you guys were a good team, and I like the conversation.
Thank you.
And so far, the way you're going, it's good. It's really good. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. All right, so we talk a lot. I mean, whenever I have questions about, you know, some things that I'm unsure about, I like to connect with you, kind of sit with you and see, you know, what you think about it. One of those things is the breakup. So my breakup, you know, the one that just happened. So what do you think about how I navigated through that? I'm curious to hear your thoughts about that.
Wow. I didn't expect that kind of question.
I know, exactly. I only showed him a little bit of what we're going to talk about.
All right. Man to man. You know, when it comes to relationships, it depends on how do you start, how do you go along, and I don't like breakups, to tell you frankly, but we're human, right? Comes a time where you have to part ways. And looking at you and the way you did it, personally, you know my principles could have been shorter.
Yeah.
But you navigate with that, making sure like you're parting ways, but on a very peaceful and a lovely way. And I think that was it. It's your approach. It's the way you say things, and it's the way you deal with things actually in life.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
This is my son way.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Okay, thank you. We talked about it a little bit in the car too. Like, how did breakups go in your era? Like, when you guys broke up, were you guys still in contact, or did you just stop speaking altogether?
Again, depends on the reason you break up, right?
Okay.
Sometimes you may break up with someone because, well, things didn't go well. Practically, things didn't go well, and then you said goodbye, and that's it.
Yeah.
Gone. If it's about cheating, right? Then you go your way, I go my way. I don't want to even see you anymore.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't want to even see you anymore. But we tried back then. It's not like today where you have the media and the social media things, and you're in touch somewhere or somehow. You're checking on what is she doing, what he is doing.
Yeah.
Back in our age, we didn't have those kind of stuff. So you break up with someone because you knew you were right to stop that kind of relationship. You take your way and go. If you were the one who were dumped, then you will try to recover somehow and have a vengeance or what. I don't know. But the game was kind of different a little bit. It's the same game, but the game is different depending on the generations. Right?
Definitely, yeah. And even to that, right? Nowadays, when you break up with someone, it's kind of hard to not see them. You know what I mean? Like, of course, I mean, you don't have to physically see them in person, but if you guys are on social media, there's a chance you're gonna see, and chance people say, oh, just block them. You're gonna unblock them. I think it's nice to take those little pieces of poison every day, because if you don't block it, that's her reality, right? She's out on a date or whatever, doing whatever.
Yeah.
Eat that. I think it's part of the healing process.
But my question in that, I know you don't want to ask questions, but why do you keep checking on her?
It's love, man.
It's done. It's done.
It's done. Yeah. I think, I don't know. It's just so normal to just be curious. But the thing about me is I would never text back or hit a message or say anything like that. But I also wouldn't stalk. You know what I mean? Like showing up at her house, or that's crazy. But
I think one of the important things is when you're in a relationship, make sure the other one is happy while you are together. And if it comes to a point where you have to part ways, make sure that the time you had together, you can cherish that.
100%.
Okay?
Yeah.
And make sure wherever he or she is gone, she'll be fine. Right? Checking up them like on a daily basis or on a weekly basis, and just what is he or what is she doing. For me, in my old school, is not healthy.
Yeah, no, you're right. Even today, that's not healthy. Every day is nuts. Yeah, that's crazy. Every 3 to 4 days.
Yeah.
Maybe acceptable. But even then, that's an interesting point, though. I feel like a lot of times where I think if you're a man today and you're a boyfriend, your job is to improve the life of both parties, right? So you meet this person, you guys evolve together, and you teach them a lot of things. They teach you a lot of things too. But when you leave that, you fear that evolution is not going to continue, right? So you the checking up is kind of that, like, oh my gosh, she made that mistake. I can't even try to help you, or I can't do this because it's like we're not in contact. So,
and let's not forget about the reasons that made you to separate ways, right?
That part too. Yeah.
Again, from there, then you know how to move on, right?
Yeah, you're right. Okay. Interesting. Thank you on this breakup topic. All right, let's talk about something that you're grateful that you were able to do with me that your father didn't do with you. Talking, right?
Talking.
Yeah.
In my generation, when your dad calls you, you know you're in trouble already. That means something is not right.
Yeah.
Okay? And most of the time, the conversation will not take 5 minutes, because in the first 2 minutes, you know what you did wrong or what you have to do. That's it.
Okay.
It wasn't like you sit with your father and then you talk about anything, right? No. You may be sitting with him because you have a homework and you're having trouble to do your homework, and then the sheriff is around. You have to do it good.
Yeah.
Okay? That's one thing. And again, seeing you coming to me to look for a solution. That's something I didn't have a chance to do with my father. Looking at you going at school and looking at you graduating. I wish my father could be there when I did my university studies, but he died soon. So and being here today, I didn't have a chance. or he didn't have a chance to learn like this with me.
Very, very true.
And most important thing, loving you, having you around.
Okay, you're trying to make me cry. What's going on? But no, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, the school thing, that's huge too, right? When it came to university, you know, you hit your head against the wall a lot of times. Accounting. My partner over in crime right here. So we both read to it. But yeah, you helped me a lot with that too, right? Like we know how I felt about accounting. Nah,
accounting is easy.
Sure. I'm pretty good at math, but accounting I just no, not doing it. But I got through it because of you, because of our sessions.
You know what? You know accounting, but you don't like accounting.
Okay.
Because if you didn't know it, you couldn't but understand the basic of accounting in 2 days like we did.
Okay.
First day it was a little bit hard, but the second day you were grasping it like this, and then you went through and you passed the course.
Yeah, we did pretty good in the course. Yeah, you're
of course.
Right. Yeah. But that's a big thanks to you though. I didn't like it at all, but just the ability to do that was huge for me too, right? Kind of coming home and saying, "You're good at this. Help me with this." That's not given to everyone.
Yeah.
Where like I remember I would see that even growing up sometimes where classmates would not have that ability. You know, they didn't get any homework done because. Long story short is people don't know how to help. Like their parents don't know the answers to the questions.
As a dad, looking at your child or your children, we don't all have the same abilities, right? You can be a star on this side, and that one can be a star on that side. Someone can be good in maths, the other one can be good in different kind of science, right? Maybe in French or other thing, geography or whatever. But come to a level in school, you need to understand all that, at least have the basic, right? So as a dad, you'll do your best, if you're capable, of course, to help your child, even if mostly good in geography, but help your child so that in French you can pass the course, right? That's what we did for accounting.
Yeah. That's what you guys did for everything, to be honest. You guys covered the bases, make sure, hey, like you're gonna, like that's another question I have to you, like, why did you place so much importance and value on education for the kids?
I know how important it is in life to be educated. Instructions in life, or knowing how to live, knowing the values is one thing. Education is the second thing, right? One can open the doors for you, another one will make you successful in life, right? So you may be a good person, you know how to deal with anyone in the society, but you cannot become a manager or maybe run a podcast if you don't know the basic of technology, social media, and so on and so on. And you learn that maybe at school or maybe with friends, but you should have a head ready to grasp and to understand. Okay? And this is what school does, right?
Yeah.
They don't give you intelligence, but they open the doors for you so that if you look properly, you can understand this is this, this is that, I need this to go there, and so on and so on. That's why I wanted you, my children, to have education in life so that not only the value we're giving you in the family, plus the education you have in the society, that can make you successful in life.
Yeah, you nailed it, and that's something that I was scared about. I mean, at a few points in my life, but I feel like the first time I remember this was in grade 2, where, like the example I just said, my friend came back home from work, came back home, you know, and came back to school from home and didn't get any of his homework done, and I knew the reason was because the parents didn't know how to do the homework. So in that moment, I knew, okay, I need to take life seriously because I can't be having my kid go to school and not, you know, be able to do their homework.
That's sad.
It's sad, but it's also, it's like a make or break moment for me. So that was, from then on, I was like, all right, I need to get my shit together. Right? Imagine that, being 8 and thinking I need to get my shit together. But it just instilled that value in me. And then the second moment, I think, was probably close to grade 11, where I knew that university had to happen, right?
Yeah.
I did not want to do it because we both know I don't like reading, and you told me like university is going to be all reading. You're going to be eating books, and I'm like, I don't like reading. It's just so boring to
Well,
me.
thank God they made it simple now. That you can listen to your book, right? Instead of reading
Exactly,
it.
right? Yeah. But even that moment, so I was praying for 2012. Remember that? The end of the world was supposed to happen in 2012. So I was ready for that to happen. I'm like, I don't need to do any of my assignments. I don't need to worry about university. It's not going to happen. But it happened. But, just because you put that fear in, like, hey, listen, you're going to enter a next chapter, and that's your make or break moment. A lot of people drop out. A lot of people leave. A lot of people say it's not for me or whatever it is. If you make it through, it'll say a lot about you and your character. And so that pressure on me being, 16, I'm like, oh, shit. And then you would wake me up at 6 a.m. too and say, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm sleeping, man. He's like, yeah, man should be up at 7. And I'm like, or no, you said 6. And I'm like, there's nothing to do. Find something to do. So that, all those things were going through my head, but I got out of it. I got through it, actually. So that was great. But it was definitely a scary time. But
Well, I understand, and thank God now you understand how important it is, or it was back then. A trainer knows where the athlete got to go and where he got to be or to become, right? If you want your athlete to be just someone standing in the stadium, that's one thing. If you want your athlete to become a champion one day, you got to train your athlete in a way they will become a champion, right? And a champion for a child is not only a man, but one day to be, if chosen to be a father and a good person in the society, right? And waking you up at 6 in the morning, okay, asking you to do some,
oh yeah, it was
Sure,
the cars.
then-
Remember, that's when we had like 4 cars in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, all right, go check the tire pressure for every single one of the cars.
Exactly.
Make sure they're where they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
And yeah, just like vacuum them, make sure the cars are clean.
Back then, you would say, "What the? Why
man, I
am
said
I
a lot
going
of bad
to
words.
check the pressure? What do I need for that?" You didn't
Yeah.
know that in a year or maybe
Yeah.
2 or 3, you'll have a car, and you'll need to know the pressure in the car, right? And again, all those kind of stuff. Not everybody can think about showing the kid how to check the pressure, how to change a tire,
Yeah.
right? But I knew one day you will need that kind of knowledge. So as much as you were uncomfortable, I knew you hated me back then, but I knew you're gonna do it,
Yeah.
because you will need it. That's me.
Yeah, and it's not an easy job. Like it's scary too. Just thinking about being a dad. I mean, it's exciting and also scary because I'm happy to start my own little gang of kids and shit. But
Don't be.
no,
Don't be.
it's yeah.
I've been telling you in the house, like, me, I was thinking my life, my first child would come at 35. At the age of 35, then I'll start being, having my own family.
Yeah. When did it happen though?
I was 25. I was 25.
Yeah.
And was I scared? Oh, goddamn, yeah. But that pushed me to be more responsible and to take life seriously, because I knew here start the battle, and it's going to be a long one. We may lose some days, but in the course of the year, at the end of the year, we have to win. Okay? Sacrifices on my side, asking the kids, even your mom, we have to do this, we have to do that. Sometimes it goes the way I want it, sometimes it doesn't go the way I want it. And then we pick up the pieces and start again, right? And look at you now.
Yeah, that's one of the questions I wanted to ask you too. In 1984? Yeah, 1984.
Yeah.
When you got the call from mom,
Okay.
how did you react? So you paint the picture. You're in Congo, living the life. Young banker, making money, driving a nice car.
Yeah.
Living.
As a single, life was great. Then I met your mother, right?
Yeah.
And life was great. But the day things changed was that day when she said, "Well, I think this is the time to start this and that," right? It changed the perspectives of life. I lost my father, your grandpa, when I was 20.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first hit in my life. I could choose to say, you know what, give it up. Tomorrow is going to be another day. It's going to be what it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just ride life. But I said no. My father was a strict guy, disciplined. We called him sheriff. So you don't fast in front of that kind of dad.
Mm-hmm.
And when he died, I said, well, now it's time to think and decide. Was he right to whatever I hated from him?
Mm-hmm.
Beside whatever the good things I loved about him,
Mm-hmm.
but was he right on the things I hated about him? Revisit that and say, well, in this side he was okay, in this side he was right, so I have to apply it now in life, even if I don't like it, but I have to apply that in life. Respect the woman, for example, right? I wanted to have so many girlfriends or whatever, but now you have a responsibility coming in front of you. You have to respect this person and then cut all other ties that can destroy the family coming in. And that person coming into your life now, like permanently.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one will be coming, the baby. That was the scary moment. Am I going to be a good dad? Am I going to be able to raise that child? But again, day by day, deciding what is best for me, for her, and for the coming baby. Was it easy? No.
No, I can't imagine to be. No.
You're young, you don't have experience, but people are in the society, the community. You can ask questions and always have those 2 ears open.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And learn. Learn.
Scary time.
Don't be.
No, it's mixed feelings. It's mixed feelings because like I'm asking myself the same question, right? So, yeah, am I gonna be a good dad? And it's like, are you like? I think in my heart, yes, but I think, well, I know that I will be, but even that answer is kind of like there's a part of it you don't really know what you're walking into, but
depends how you are among people, right?
Exactly.
How you are among your friends,
Yeah.
and how you are in the society. That will show you who you're gonna be if one day you'll be a parent,
Yeah.
or a father.
Yeah.
If you know that you suck with people, it's gonna be hard. To be
Yeah.
a parent because you'll be facing children, and you're not easy, eh? Not easy because children will come to you with questions. Maybe a friend will, be kind of reluctant to ask you those kind of questions, but kids will come to you and bang on your face, right?
Yeah.
If you're someone with a short temper, you'll be abusive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all those kind of stuff, many things will make you a father. But again, you have that that feeling on the way you deal with the society.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you are accepted in the society, people respect you. People tell you, "Oh, you know what? This one is a good guy, a good person, a good guy, a good lady, a good boy." That's showing you in the future you was gonna be.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's
Maybe
good.
you're gonna be better than I am. I'm sure, and you got to.
Inshallah.
And you got. You know what they say? If you're going to university, you have a course, right? At the end of that term, that class, you got to be better than your teacher, than your professor.
Not here. Not in Canada. It's a little different here. But
So me as your dad,
Yeah.
looking at me, there will be a father. If I'm still around,
God
Okay.
willing, yeah.
yeah, you're gonna be better than me.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. Question. So the discipline.
Okay.
You never beat any of us. Spankings really rarely. Yeah, no, for real. I think I got slapped with my dad once, maybe twice. I remember that time he slapped me too. It wasn't even my fault; it was my sister's fault. But whatever, it's fine. But besides that, like he didn't beat us, and I'm sure that's obviously a conscious decision that you made of saying like I'm not gonna beat my kids. I'm just gonna speak to them.
Yeah.
And that is almost scarier because I feel like the people that I would speak to, growing up, they just had to worry like, okay, my mom's going to beat me, whatever. I take the beating. I'll cry, whatever. But with my parents, it was like they talk to you like you're an adult, right? So they'd be like, be honest, was that a really good decision you made? and wait for you to answer. So walk me through it. And you're there like, Jesus, just kill me, just shoot me. Like, you know, you want everything but that. But that is really just, it teaches you accountability and responsibility at a young age. And you really weigh things before you do them.
Thank you.
Right? So yeah, so thanks for that. And even just like, it also opened up to like a level of honesty too, right? But it also goes into the just ability that because we are able to talk, I can come to you and say, yo, I'm feeling like this, or I did this and I don't know what to do. Instead of like running to a friend and saying, oh, this happened, what the hell do I do? So thanks for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm from Africa, and from Congo especially. What I would say here in the podcast is not an image of the whole Africa. No. Maybe from my own parents. My father was staff,
The sheriff.
the sheriff, and he will take his belt and whip all of you in the house because someone made a mistake, just one. Remember that joke? Someone is gonna get hurt.
Yeah, Russell Peterson.
For us in the house, if you're making a mistake and you know what you're doing is not good, we'll say, well, everybody's gonna be beaten now. Everybody's gonna get hurt because of you, and that will happen. I even remember in one Christmas, the father locked us in the house, said, well, you stay inside the house. Because there were some I don't know, mumbo jumbo was dead and they had to go to that place for mourning or whatever.
Yeah.
Because of that, we have to stay home. And he locked the door. But he forgot we can open it from inside.
Yeah.
So we did. It's Christmas, right? So we went outside and played a bit, and then when we're coming back, we look in the house, the light was on. That means someone is in the house. We went to another door and tried to sneak in. That when he came out, that was that. I was small. I couldn't run faster than my brother. He just pushed me. I was on the ground, and I could see my brother running and my father behind him. He was trying to do whatever to lose my father, but they got him. The time for me to stand up a bit, he was there. He got me. He brought us in the house. He whipped us so bad. That stayed in my mind. That stayed really in my mind. I didn't. What did we do bad for you to whip me like that? Anyway, that's one among the hundreds.
Yeah.
Right? And growing up, feeling that kind of pain, I said, well, the day I will have my kids, I don't think this helps. Because some days I was like, I hate this guy so bad.
Yeah.
So bad. I don't like him. You know? I don't like this guy. Yeah, I would smile to my father or whatever, but other things, no. And again, one day, that time it was with my mother, your grandma, but you didn't have the chance to see him.
Just spoke to her on the phone, yeah.
Yeah. We were playing on the street with another friend, and then another one came in the middle. I threw a rock and it hurt that kid. My mother bit me so bad. I was crying. I was asking mom to stop. She didn't. She continued beating me like crazy, and I couldn't cry anymore. I was thinking in my mind, I'm going to die today. That's it. She's going to kill me. Because I couldn't cry. My voice couldn't, come out and whatever. I was just looking at me. I'd heard this. But, you think till you die, until I would die, you'll kill me. And then another mother, a neighbor, came and took me out of my mother's hands. She told me, your father will come and
Finish the job.
So I stayed to our neighbor's house, sleeping on the couch, but my ears are way open, right? And as you could imagine, came time Dad was home and he was coming. Where is he? I said, no, he is in the neighbor's house. He was coming. I started crying on the couch because I knew now he's going to finish the job. He came, he looked at me for the first time. I remember like it was yesterday. Instead of beating me up, he took me in his both hands. He carried me to the house, to the bedroom, and put me on the bed. Wow. Yeah. But thing is, the next morning when I wake up, get down and I watched myself in the mirror. I start crying again because I couldn't see my face.
Because the swelling and
The
everything.
swelling and everything. And well, I said to God to forgive me already because of that. But I hated my mother. And for more than 10 years, I didn't speak to my mother.
Yep.
She could call me and send me do this and do that. I will do it. But asking her a question or going to her, never. For more than 10 years. My father noticed that. And he told me one day, you know what? You know her, that person? That's your mother. But when I was growing up, with that kind of anger in me, again, that reinforced that thing. If one day I have my kid, I will never hit my kid. Because I don't want someone to feel the way I felt against my parents. I forgive my mother.
Good. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a good call. It's a good
That's
call.
right.
Yeah.
But I know one thing too is when sitting in front of your parent and opening up your heart, listening to them, when they ask you a question and you know you did something wrong, the beating will not solve it. The beating will reinforce the kid to lie to you. But if they give you a chance to explain what really happened, the kid will tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Because they know I'm not going to be hit. I'm going to be punished, but no one's going to beat me up.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I was a boxer, but not with my kids.
Yeah, accurate. So in all of this, where did well, actually, there's one story I want you to tell as well.
Yep.
This is before you got the news of you're gonna have a kid and everything. So this 1980. So you're in Congo. Things are going well, and then you decide that you want to go to Europe and start a life there.
Yep.
Or what happened there?
I lost my father the same year.
Okay.
Right. Before I finished my high school, my dad's plans, if I may say, was to send me in a foreign country to continue my studies, right? And come back and take care of the business, the family business.
Yeah.
But the SOB died,
Yeah.
right? So I had to look at life in a different way, right? So I said, well, I will continue the plan. I will continue daddy's plan. I will go outside and try to continue my studies. That didn't work.
Yeah, I mean that's a tough place to be in at 20 as well, right? You're left with everything in your hands. You had this promise of this is what life is going to look like. You're going to be studying abroad. Things are going to be good. You're going to come back, run the business, be successful, and so on and so forth. And then just to have that thing change like that.
Yeah.
And then when you take it in your hands and try to make something happen and it doesn't happen.
And not only that, but again, some customs, some rules or whatever, I don't know who put them in place in Africa for some tribes. Like for us, we are from Congo, and I am a Mukongo, you are a Mukongo. That means we are from the west of Congo, right? That's where the name of Congo came from, anyway. Your father may have stuff, like be rich or whatever, right? He is part of a family. And that family comes before the children. Unless he write a will and leave a will. If he doesn't do that, his family, has a say on
The belongings of the family,
belongings of that person. So in our case, when dad died, he didn't leave a will.
Oof.
So the family came and took
Everything. It was a free flow. They just took everything they liked.
Yeah, that means for me, that was the first step where the dream was like kind of shaky.
Dwindling, yeah.
Yeah. I had a brother and two sisters. Because I'm the fourth in the family. I asked them, well, I have to continue my studies. What do you think about that? They told me, well, you have finished your high school. You can go and work. So instead of jumping to work, I said, well, I'll continue my studies somewhere else. I did my best. I went down there, lonely, whatever, met some people who disappointed me, and it didn't work. It was really a nightmare.
Yeah.
And I had to come back home. and you come back home. There's no dad. They took everything. You don't even know where the family is. But I find my way.
Mm.
I found them finally, and got a job in the bank. That's where the second page started in the life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely a dark time in life, eh? Yeah, we talked about that, and I
Yeah.
remember you'd say like, yeah, some weeks were just like, that's a blackout,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it was just like in that.
No, because when I came back from Europe, the rest of the family, they put their hope on me, thinking like, well, now he's gone outside, he will probably get a good job and whatever, he'll support the
He'll
family.
get us out of this situation.
Yeah. And then a few months later, they see the guy coming back. And we had a serious argument with one of my sisters. That's what put me in a 2 weeks blackout. I don't know what I did at that time. Anyway. Till now, I don't know.
Jeez. Yeah.
Yeah. It was tough. It was really tough. But it's one of the darkest times in life. But,
Definitely.
Yeah. Thank God it was short.
Yeah. I'm happy I don't have to. Listen, my life is really easy. I'm not gonna lie. Like we were talking about that.
Good for you.
Yeah,
Good for
like
you.
I'm like yeah, because I remember I forgot you guys asked me about something like, oh, how come you don't do this? Or I'm like, well, that person is poor and like they really struggled. You know what I mean? No shade to poor people, but what I'm trying to say is like there's a different drive, I guess. Like once you don't have anything, you know, it either makes or breaks you. But I feel like my parents really did a great job raising us and provided us with the stuff that we needed, so we didn't feel like we never lacked anything. You know, so thank you guys for that. But,
You're welcome.
yeah, it's just crazy hearing all these things and the fact that you guys really left a whole country to come here, we didn't know anyone, and then build, and then continue to build and continue to build.
And again, on that kind of approach, it's about being proactive.
Yeah, I can't even move to Calgary. Like it's so scary. You know what I mean? Like Calgary has great prices for houses, but you know.
Yeah, but that's the thing we did, in a way that you guys cannot go and climb these high mountains, right, in life. I think for me, that's what the parent is supposed to do.
Yeah.
Set your children in a way that, setting them up in a way, life is not going to be a struggle like yours, right? Your own, I mean, as a parent. Making that decision to go from Congo to here was not an easy one. Of
course
it was so quick, and we had to go. So we came, and imagine leaving Congo at 21 or 30, no, not 21, 37, 30 degrees or 37. I was 30 years old. And coming in a country where it's minus 20.
Yeah.
In February, first time to see winter, first time to see this kind of cold. Mommy was expecting the second child.
Yeah.
Didn't speak a word in English. I was like to speak a little bit English. And yeah, that was it. It was tough at the beginning, but again, you had to do what we had to do. Yeah.
Perfect. All right, we're gonna pivot a little bit to the next section. So we have listener questions. All right, these
Listener
are
questions?
Listener questions. Yeah.
Okay.
So these are questions that people listening to the show
Yeah.
would ask. I had to make it a smaller group of people for these questions because you're a big guest, so I didn't announce it to many people. So.
All right.
All right. First question is: are you jealous of your son's beard?
That's a real question?
It's a real question. It's on here.
Wow, it's your beard. I got mine.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
Yeah,
That's good.
thank you.
Not jealous, but proud.
There was some time my dad would questions like, "Yo, who is really your father?" He's like, "Why are you so hairy?" Like my eyebrows and stuff. So that was a fun time.
Yeah.
Let's see. The second one is also a joke question. It says, "Are you mad that your son is more handsome than you?"
I don't know. We have to ask mom about that.
I saw some young pictures. I'm smoking you, Dad.
It depends, right? Yeah.
So
but
next
I'm proud. If you're good looking at me, that's good. That's good. But if I'm better gentleman, then it's a problem, right?
Yeah, okay, if you say so. The next question, actually, I took this question I asked you earlier, but it was, why do you place so much importance on education and taking school seriously? So you already answered that one.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, do you remember highlighting the comments in our report cards? So a little background for that. We'd get report cards that come in, and like each grade would have comments about how you're performing in class. So my dad would rip us apart, right? Because what he would do was highlight comments that would be next to the grade, and he'd ask questions like, so how much time do you spend in your room studying again? Question mark. And it's like, so interesting that they said this, huh? We'll talk about it. So it's like when it came to report card season, it was like, damn, he held us so accountable that it was crazy. It's like you can't even run away.
Well, I remember that, and I enjoyed that time.
I did not. Man,
The whole reason was to make you a better person in life. You know, every time you see a weakness in your child education, go and work on that. You don't put weaknesses, your children weaknesses, in the bank. What will come after that?
Interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
So every weakness you see, again, you have to address that. As I gave an example saying, well, for us parents, we're like trainers, and you are the athlete. If you see your athlete as a weakness somewhere, you're going to leave that kind of weakness? No, if you want your athlete to be a champion one day, you're going to work on that. And if the athlete is reluctant to correct, if you have to correct, you correct it. Right?
Gotcha.
Yeah, and this is what brought you here.
Next question is, so last episode, our guest, lowercase, that's his name, he asked us, or he talked about how our parents were dreamers and they grow up and become more realistic. So he's an artist, Ian, from
Okay.
where we grew up.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, he talked about that. He said, our parents were dreamers. Like I mentioned, you moved from where you were from, moved here, and then now you guys become more realistic. I don't think we have that too much with just us two. I think a little bit in terms of like what my next step is going to be. But yeah, what do you think about that? That's an interesting observation.
Good observation. Again, depend what kind of dream you had.
Yeah.
And realize now where you are, right? If you have a dream and you're working toward reaching that kind of dream, you will evaluate yourself on the course of that kind of road, right? But if you have a dream, you had a dream which was really way, way out there, and at a time in life you realize, maybe I will never reach that. You didn't assess yourself properly, right? It doesn't happen like this in life unless you win the lottery when it comes to financial success, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to children education, what they're gonna be in life, it's a day-to-day job, right? We left Africa, we came this side of the world to say, well, we wanna give our future children a chance to have a good education and be in life, attack life in a way easier way than we did.
Yeah.
That's one thing. That was the dream. Realistically, today, I can see the result. You're here complaining about me highlighting the report card and waking you up at 6 a.m. and so on and so on. Again, those were some of the steps when we're looking at the dream. Right? Tell you frankly, I didn't come here to say I'll be a millionaire. Yes, I've reached a million if I take all my stuff I got. I'm above that. But again, I didn't come saying, well, I will be this. No. I came here with my wife and your sister first to say, well, let's do our best so that our children will be good. Will be good. And looking at you today, again, as I said, well, it's going well. Thank God.
Thank God. Yeah, thank God. Thank God. So where did your relationship with God come from? I know that the very first time was when you were younger, you're playing with cars, and then your grandpa, my dad, your dad, my grandpa, came up to you and said, "Hey, I'm gonna take you to church." Right? That was the first time.
I'm so proud of you. You remember all those kind of stories.
Of course, remember all those stories. And then as time progressed, like whenever you were in doubt, you'd always have you feel there's just the higher power that's there looking out, and that I can kind of lean on and things of that nature, right? So fast forward a little bit more to where we're at, I guess today or just even a few years back, you took the decision to kind of lead us spiritually, right, religiously as well, because we frequented a church for a little bit. We found that it wasn't going to be, it wasn't a great match. We'll just keep it as that. But what we did is we didn't just give up on prayer and everything. We were young, and you thought it was going to be a great value, so you instilled that in us.
Yeah.
But what I liked about that is the ability that we were able to actually have conversations.
Yeah.
It wasn't just Bible says this, this is this, goodbye. We would actually sit around the table. We're gonna pick, like my dad would pick specific verses from the Bible. We'd read them. So first passage here, go to turn page here, passage here, passage here. What is the connection, guys? It's like, oh, I'm not really sure. Okay, connection is this, and then comes with the story of exactly this is what it is, it's whatever. And then at the same time, also very receptive to the questions that we were asking, right? Saying, it sounds really unlikely. I don't know about this. And instead of shutting that down, he would say, yeah, that does sound like that. But let me tell you why it's this. Or let me tell you why it's that. Or, oh, yeah, you're probably right about this. That right there is what kept us, still spiritual or religious, right, till this day, and having the relationship we have with God.
Yeah.
But I think that when you raise a kid to be read or go to the the church or whatever it is, over time the kid is gonna be like, all right, like, I'm not really believing. What is this?
Yeah.
Because they associate God with religion and not just God with being God.
I'm so proud of you because you remember that first day or that first moment I was kind of introduced to God. I didn't know nothing, right? I didn't know nothing, and he took me like that. I remember I didn't have any shoes on my feet. He just took me like that, and back, my mother and my sisters and brothers and my siblings were looking for me, saying, "Where is the lamb? Where is the lamb?" And then they saw me after maybe an hour and a half or maybe 2 hours coming home with Dad.
Yeah.
I went to church with Dad. Why me? I don't know. Why that day? I don't know. But from that moment, I started going even myself to the church come Sunday. As we grew up, depending on the school we were going, I started noticing something like life has a sense. Life is not only what you see. Life has a purpose. And this body is one thing. There is probably a fuel, or I don't know how shall I call it, a gas station somewhere that gives us fuel to continue in life. And where is that place? Where is that source? Where is that station? Some people will call him Allah. Some people will call him God. Some people will call him Buddha or whatever. But we know there is
a higher force. Yeah.
A higher force somewhere. And I started seeking, how can I get more fuel? How can my life be directed differently? And among my siblings, my dad took me on different paths than the others. He was rich, but he didn't want me to stay with him in the house. He sent me to a boarding school.
Yeah.
It was tough.
Yeah.
I was hungry. I was suffering. I was fighting with people because you have to defend your territory.
It's prison.
Yeah. But he didn't know all that.
Yeah.
I came up a point when I even sent him a letter saying, well, I don't see you like me.
Yeah.
I believe you hate me because my siblings are living well and I'm the one suffering here. You know his response to me?
Yep. Apologize.
I apologized on that. I was like, oh. But I did apologize right away, saying, well, Dad, I'm sorry about this. He came one day to the boarding school. It was the day of the vacation. I didn't expect him. He came and said, you know what? We're riding home. And that day, he explained it to me why he sent me far away. During my suffering in the boarding school, you know my refuge?
Oh, prayer. Yeah.
Prayer. And that's where I started growing up. And when I was praying, I could see the result.
Yeah.
I was among the best students. Have you seen my report cards?
No. I don't.
Yeah, too bad. You have to.
I believe you.
I
believe you.
Anyway.
Yeah, proof.
Yeah.
So.
And that's how it goes. After the boarding school, I came back home because that school couldn't give us a chance for the last year of the high school. We had to do it in the capital. And right after that, my dad died.
Yeah.
So it was kind of, I don't know, 3 or 4 years, so tough in life. And again, reference, or I was always going to my prayers and ask God for, strength and guidance and everything. And he did. One bracket on the trip to Europe, I got arrested somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Was it a miracle? I believe so.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe so. I heard that kind of voice telling me, Alain, go home. I was like, no, 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 this and that. And again, Alain, go home. I was like, Alain, you have to go home. I said,
You heard
wow.
it in your dad's voice.
Yeah. So the first time I was sleeping and I heard that kind of voice, Alain, go home. I wake up and said, well, someone called me. I said, no, it was just a dream. I went back to sleep. Again this time, Alain, go home. I said, well, this is my dad's voice. But this guy is dead.
Mm-hmm.
Dead people don't speak.
Unless you're
So
dead
what
too.
is this? Yeah. Again, I sleep. And this time it came so loud in my ears, like, Alain, go home. I was like, oh, this is real.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm here. How can I go home?
Mm-hmm.
And things went so fast from that day. Maybe in the next 48 hours, I was in the plane coming back home.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the story?
Hmm?
What's the story? What happened?
It's a long story.
It's a long story.
We can take like an hour or two
Yeah.
to explain it to you, but
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just make it really like
Yeah.
compressed story. It's very interesting. I'm writing a book on it.
Yeah.
Remind me to continue.
Definitely. You know, he's told me, he told us a story, and it's like, it's one of those stories where it's like, that's nothing else but God. You know, it's just like weird forces, and it's like, this makes absolutely no sense. But he has tons of those throughout his life, you know, that just make it, it's like synchronicity, but worse, you know, but.
And again, to respond to your question, what brought me to that level of spirituality, I understand many things can happen in your life and many things can be changed because of your relationship with God. Okay? So when I started having my family, we didn't have a chance in my family, in my house, with mom and dad to sit on the table and pray. We didn't. Why did I come up with that idea? The first time I asked your mom to be my wife, the second condition was like, we have to build a family. God got to be in it. And she accepted. Here we are.
Yeah. Nice. Little thing that I want to bring up as well. You said on the car ride home from boarding school is when your dad explained everything to you. We had a similar moment to that too, where in high school I had what's the word I'm looking for? Curfew.
Okay.
I had a curfew. So whenever we'd be going out, I had to be home. Was it 11? It was a ridiculous curfew because we already live in the middle of nowhere. So it takes me an hour and a half to get home. So it's one of those things where you go to the party for literally 30 minutes. It's like, all right, guys, gotta go. And it was like, what? And I'm like, you don't understand. I have to go. But I come back to my dad and say, Dad, like, you don't understand. I'm literally going to a party for 30 minutes. Nothing is happening. Like, let me get back home late. Nope, not happening. For years, and I'm like, all right, man, can we, like, as I got older, can we change it? Can we extend it or whatever? And then in that conversation is when he broke it down to me. He's like, listen, I know you to be a good kid. I'm like, yeah, correct. And he's like, okay, if a fight were to happen, what are you going to try to do? Between you, like, friends, people you know, whatever, and, you know, somebody else. Like, I'm going to try to break it up. He's like, exactly. Good people always get caught in the crossfire, especially at those kind of parties, and I don't want that to be you. I sat back, I'm like, he is so right that I can't even argue. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly that. And it's like not attending these things, especially when you're around that age. Like you're not thinking all the way. You know, you're still learning, you're still developing, and people do some strange things. We all have a story about our friend drinking too much or doing too much of something, and it's like, yeah, man, you were weird that night. I'm happy I got the chance of not being that guy. So shout out to my dad for that. But even, just being that age, you're not really developed like that. And it's really a risk to just be in those environments. So I think that was a better decision for me to do that.
I love that I responded to you because that wasn't the first time you came back to me saying, well, what about this ridiculous curfew and whatever. I was waiting for you to grow up a bit. Okay. And then came that day when I said, well, he asked the question, this is the day to explain it to him. You know, I know how I raised you. I know you're a good kid. I know what you do if you're among friends and there's trouble. I know that. So I told you exactly what you said.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're going out with friends, when do people get drunk?
Past midnight.
Past midnight, right?
People get drunk at 9, but you're right.
Past midnight, people get drunk and then start whatever, right? If you have a girl in your group and someone else coming from another group and trying to head Okay, to hit on that girl, what you gonna do?
Yeah, stop it. Yeah.
Stop it, right?
Yeah.
And most of the time, if someone's gonna be stabbed or maybe shot, who's gonna be shot? The guy intervening on that.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time, that's the good kid.
Yeah. That's
So
usually how it goes.
I want you home before that start. Before I finish, you told me, Dad, I understand.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I was like,
Dad, I
you're right.
understand. Now, when you have your kid,
Oh, 100%. Same thing. Yeah.
even people are listening to us, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think this episode's going to help a lot of people.
Yeah, because some parents will say, well, I want my kid to enjoy his life.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you're putting them in danger, you know? Sometimes telling them not at the moment. They may not understand at that time, but one day they will.
Yeah.
And they will say, thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad.
Yeah. But even to that too, right? You explain the why to me, and I think that's the biggest thing, because a lot of times parents just say no, and then when you ask why, they say don't worry because I said so. Whereas the parenting style you guys adopted was more so saying not yet or later on, and so can you guys explain it to us like, hey, this is why, and once you have that information is when it makes more sense.
The open door policy.
Exactly. So that's definitely a policy I'm gonna put in place when I'm a parent. But we are approaching the final segment. We're almost at an hour. Time flew, right?
Oh.
Yeah, time flew. Yeah. So since we're approaching the last segment, what we do is we take a shot of tequila.
Wow.
Is
there a steak coming with that?
No.
No steak?
No steak. Just tequila. I got cups. Okay. Salud.
100.
Cheers.
All right. So silly shit, if you're not aware, it's some questions that come left fields. Sometimes I have my you okay with the shot? Sometimes I have my listeners submit or send me a message of, hey, ask this question to the guest. But so this is the next question here.
That's not from your sister, right?
We'll never know. So
maybe your mom.
Maybe. Would you send any of us in the family to jail for 1 year for $2 million, and you can't tell the person until they come back home? So you send that person to jail. They don't know why they're being taken. Let's add in that they know that you sent them. Actually, no, let's not add that in. They don't know who sent them there. They just know that they're being sent to jail for, what is it? A year. Yeah, for a year. And you get $2 million.
Never.
You're a better dad than me.
Never.
No.
I believe in one thing. I cannot put any of my child in a position where I don't know the outcome. Right?
Okay.
So jail is a different word. Okay? We spoke a bit about me being in Europe and things changing and whatever.
Yeah.
I was in those kind of places. So I know what it is gone. And you can give me, I'll surprise you, $1 billion. Saying, well, send your kid this place for this time. No, I'll say, keep your money. Because if I lose that child, that money will never replace the child.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah, good point. Now to me, would I do that? Damn, you really make me look bad, man. If it's a hypothetical kid, you think, I can send this person out. But you're raising a great point. There's a possibility of not even, like, let's say they don't get killed. They just come back and they're not the same.
Exactly.
Right? A year is a long time. A lot of things can happen there. And just to feel like, they're betrayed and they find out, hey, you did this to me? No money can fix that. And no matter if you put the $2 million in crazy investments and it came back $50 million.
Let me tell you a true story. My own brother, he died, but my own brother, you know your cousins. When he was young, 20s or whatever, so he went out with a girl. And then after 2 or 3 months, they came to our place saying, well, he impregnated that girl. He defended himself saying, well, it wasn't me and so on and so on, but who could believe him?
Yeah.
So he got arrested. They arrested him on a Saturday and directly bring him to prison, which was not the right process.
Yeah.
They should take him to a station and then wait for Monday, let him see the judge, and book him if
He's
That
guilty.
should have been
Yeah.
the case, right?
Okay.
But in this case, they took him on a Saturday, and on a Sunday transferred to the central prison in Kinshasa. So he stayed in that place for like 6 months without seeing a judge.
Jesus.
So the family had to fight outside to have the case be seen by a judge. The time the judge to see it said, well, this guy shouldn't be in jail in the first place. He came out. My brother was scared for life whenever he sees a police officer. Is like a leaf.
Jeez.
This is what the person became. And approaching a girl was a problem.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a double trauma. Yeah.
So when you ask me your question,
You thought about that, right? Yeah. No, that's real.
never put someone in a place where you don't know the outcome.
Wise words to live by. Thank you. And on that note, it's been another episode of Returning the Map podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Easily one of my favorite episodes. We're definitely gonna try to have you back.
Well, you know where I live, right?
Yeah, I think so. I have an idea. Thank you guys for tuning in. Special shout out to London. Special shout out to Lowercase as well. Like our conversation, I think triggered that. The thought of having my dad on the show, only because he mentioned you on the episode talking about the way we grew up and everything, and I said, you know what, that'd actually be a really fascinating conversation. I was stressing about episode 100. I'm like, should we do a live show? Should we do this? But again, that's gonna happen later this year. But just it makes more sense, and I think synchronicity and everything lined up, and episode 100. So thank you.
I'm so proud of you, looking at what you're doing and looking at your friends being with you and doing this.
Thank you.
Me being here.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And again, it's a library. Whenever you have a questions,
I steal information all the time.
all right.
All right. Till next week, guys. We're out.